operations abroad with a focus on Ukraine, but it lays the groundwork for some sort of intervention in Kaliningrad and the Baltic. The Russian leadership sees an organized NATO plan both in the Baltics and in the case of Norway, and is preparing to respond militarily if the blockades in Kaliningrad and Svalbard are not lifted. If you didn't know, there was also a blockade in the Arctic, which is another point of escalation for this war. The Russians have a outpost in the Arctic, and the Norwegians, I believe, are blocking access to it.
To the minds of young people, I want that kind of funeral. That looks honorable. When I look at that funeral, I said, man, they make dying look good. They make being killed look good. Even if you don't get to live. Even if you ain't live right. They just make dying look cool. So I understand why these young niggas want to die. Because in their mind, I get that kind of funeral. Not knowing they don't get it.
Or blocking the supply of goods to it. The Russian government has submitted a draft law in order to give the executive branch, the president of Russia, and the Russian government special emergency powers. Yes, it's not entirely a dictatorship. They still have to consult the Duma, but I'm sure, there's some KGB stuff going on. We'll just say that makes it somewhat of a dictatorship. Anyways, ensuring the conduct of anti-terrorist and other operations of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, other troops and military formations and bodies outside the territory of the Russian Federation. So they're using, the euphemism of anti-terrorism. So, special military operation. Now they're talking about special economic measures to fight terrorism, which of course is going to be the Ukrainian, which will now look like an insurgency. And
watch what they're subtly doing here. Yeah, men can have periods. Here we go.
Excuse me, which of these products would you recommend?
These are the tampons I usually use.
Thank you.
I prefer pads. They're more comfortable for me.
Thank you.
I always get the ones with wings.
Thank you.
Get them scented and bleach-free if you can.
Thank you.
Yo, my daughter loves these.
Thank you.
These might be easier if it's her first period.
These are really environmentally friendly.
What is going on here?
The Ukrainian, which will now look like an insurgency, an asymmetrical guerrilla-style war, because the Ukrainians, now that they've lost all the good stuff, because this is where like 75% of the major industry takes place. I mean, you got the biggest nuclear power plant that they have. They have all this other area. They got access to the Black Sea. So this is where a lot of the wealth of Ukraine comes from. I guess that's the rest of it. So anyways, let's just get on with this. So what that means is that the Ukrainians now are going to be lobbing, these missiles and kind of being like the flea on the dog, right? Not saying Ukrainians are fleas. I'm just saying that's one metaphor to look at this. Okay, so it is noted that in these conditions, there is a short-term increase, need for repair of weapons and special military equipment, and the provision of logistical means. Therefore, the government wants to take special economic measures. So here's what they're asking for. Temporary activation of mobilization capabilities and facilities. Temporary activation of mobilization capabilities and facilities. So they need more troops. They need more guys. They're going to find a way to get more guys. Now remember, Russia is only using 15% of their active duty military. So what this means, I don't know. Does this mean they're going to bring guys from somewhere else? They have a massive border, of course, to defend. Are they going to seek conscription?
It's our job to provide, protect, and lead our children in the right direction. But unfortunately, more times than not, we fail in one or more of those categories.
All right, man. What happened? How'd you beat him?
He was bigger than me.
He was what?
Boy, you gotta get your respect. And if he don't give it to you, you take it.
You know what you'll do next time you see him, right? Wait, there's no punks around here. Not in this house. You need to learn to stand up for yourself. like a man. If I don't get a call from the school Monday morning saying, Damon, put foot to ass, bumping Lil D, we gonna have problems, you understand me? Do you understand me? I'm not playing around with you.
Yes, sir.
And this is simply because we feel that we're doing the right thing, because that's how things were done in our day. But we must realize that this is not our day, and we need to move on from those bad behaviors.
What happened?
He felt great, somewhat untouchable man is relaxed. So when it's all alone in the room, his fat still haunted. It took the wrong way, I should have listened when I said
But one of the major problems that we're having right now today is most parents are not raising their children right because they just simply don't know how. And I know that because I was one of those parents.
Straighten them punch out and throw them straight, man, and drop your thumb. Let's go. There you go, that's better. We don't play in this family. You hear me? Keep your feet straight. There you go. Hit them with some fence like you mean it. Harder and faster. Harder, man, come on. Come on, you can't hit like a sissy. Come on, let's go.
My mission is to reach out to as many parents as I can, tell my story, get them to understand that we are leading our children in the wrong direction. And I don't think we realize it. Let's talk.
Kind of draft, who knows? Release of tangible assets of the state reserve. So they're going to spend more money on the war. Establishment, and this is important too, because if Russia is going to slip into a deep, dark recession, which they will eventually, there will be an industrial slowdown in spite of the fact that the ruble has bounced back. That is not good, because that means they're going full on war economy. That's scary.